ahead and build great careers. And the last is to build creative thread into existing subjects. So science, languages, social studies. We talk about scientific temper in school, which is very important. What is equally important is creative temper. How do you help students understand what is creative thinking, how creativity operates, and how creativity allows you to benefit across all your education, not just in the so-called creative industries, right, but in all industries. Now, why is this so critical at this point? In the age of AI, human skills are needed for creative thinking, critical thinking, narrative thinking, design thinking. We have to inculcate the seed of this, the origin of this into our high school education. Our pre-NEP 2020 schooling focused heavily on science, maths, languages, and social studies. Now, while it was great for those subjects, what it did was it restricted completeness of education and it limited higher education pathways because students never really understood or learned about in a structured manner foundational education in creative and performing arts. It restricted careers to pathways between content creation, media and entertainment, and sports. The NEP 2020 has created the structure to resolve this issue. Now, this initiative will become the next step towards fulfillment of the NEP. It will actually create the curriculum and the faculty for the same. The structure is in place. Now, we want to make sure that we fill up that structure with good quality curriculum and excellent faculty. This initiative will also play a role in creating new academic educational pathways. We have two educational pathways already. One is on the more on the theoretical side where there is information analysis which leads to understanding and explanation. Then we added the skilling pathway a few years ago which talks about demonstration and training, which leads to practice, which leads to execution. What this initiative will add is two more pathways. It will add the creative pathway where you have creative thinking, innovation, the new thought, the new idea, and the design pathway, which is starts off with design thinking, which leads to innovation, to solutions, and to new workflows. And those are the new workflows that lead to patents. Now, what is the operating framework of foundational education in creative and performing arts, of which the content creator labs are a big part, and how is it aligned to the national education policy? So, as Secretary Sir mentioned, it is a graded approach starting from 6th to go to 12th. We have in 6th to 8th, we have basic concepts of creativity, storytelling, narratology. Then we move on to tools and workflow competence more in the 9th and 10th standard, where we allow and enable and empower students to take the basic concepts they have learned and then understand what are the tools and workflows in order to bring those out to the people. And in 11th and 12th, where we start to look at understanding complex theory of narratology, to start to get students to work together in teams for project execution as well as applications of tools and workflows. Now, this is the slide that I really want everybody to pay a lot of attention on because this allows and this helps you understand what is the real kind of output of this policy, of this initiative. So it allows students to explore creative career pathways, to get exposure to careers like film, TV, and OTT content, animation and visual effects, video gaming and esports, music, acting, voice acting, theater, graphic design, fashion and lifestyle design, advertising, branding, writing, storytelling, publishing. These are just some of the careers that students will get exposure to. On the digital and tech-enabled opportunities, you have, work in future industries like AI-based content creation, AR, virtual reality, immersive media, UI UX design, app and digital product design, 3D design, as well as virtual production, YouTube, the creator economy, podcasting and digital media. And the third and possibly the most important pillar is students get exposure to their own art and culture. They understand regional storytelling, they understand regional folk art, music. It allows them to understand that how is cultural tourism planned, how our festivals can be creatively built into the larger tourism framework, as well as understanding handicrafts and traditional design industries. So this is the really wide frame of opportunities that this initiative will open up to our students. A couple of slides about IICT, the institution that will be in charge and responsible for rolling this initiative out. So IICT was set up, as you can see, in 18th of September 2024. The Honorable PM tweeted about the setting up of the National Center of Excellence for Animation, Visual Effects, Gaming, Comics, and Extended Reality, which is now become the IICT. He also mentioned it in his Creative India Man Ki Baat a few weeks later. The IICT will support content creation labs implementation through four key pillars. So there's lab design framework, there is curriculum modules for schools and colleges, there is train the trainer programs, and there's industry mentorship. Now, each of these are areas that our panelists will speak about today, as well as we have been doing workshops and getting additional inputs from a lot of industry professionals and academics, and from the Atal Innovation Mission team to help us make sure that this is executed appropriately. As we mentioned, this is a phased rollout. So there's a pilot rollout planned in a few schools and colleges. There's a communication campaign for parents and students. There's training of educators, and there's deployment of digital platform. This phase is possibly the most important phase because not only will this kickstart this initiative, but it will also help us to get great amount of feedback and data back from the industry to make sure that phase 2 and 3 go off really well. Phase 2 is where we expand to additional institution and we widen the training of teachers. Phase 3 is where we look at saturation coverage nationwide and start to link it to higher education, HEI. So that was a few slides about the initiative. Now let's get to the panel discussion. Before we get to the panel discussion, I want to introduce our panelists. So we have Mr. Ashish Kulkarni, founder of Culinary Garden Gym, founder director IICT. There's Mr. Rajan Jetline Group, Jet Synthesis, one of India's biggest gaming publishers, video game publisher, founding director of IICT as well. Ms. Shrija Age, Economic Advisor, Department of School Education and Literacy. Ms. Sonam Bhagat, who's founder of Vigor News Media, and Mr. Veer Singh, student of IICT. Now that we've seen the overview, let's start with questions to our panelists. So let's start with Ashish Kulkarni for his opening comments. Ashish has been a pioneer of Indian AvGC XR for the last 30 years, including coining the abbreviation itself, as well as working on several national and creative arts, performing arts and design and sports education, rolling out from 6th grade to the 12th grade as an opportunity. This is something which is a foundational skill that we need to establish and train it in the right way. Many people thought that we would teach animation, visual effects, extended reality into the schools, and that's obviously not possible as you don't teach engineering, medical, and law into the school itself. You create a pathway like physics, chemistry, mathematics to go to engineering, chemistry, biology to go to medical, commerce pathways, others. The creative design and storytelling pathways were missing. And this content creation labs are going to be strengthening that whole, the whole foundational ecosystem of implementation of NEP into the schools and into the higher education institutions. As I say, what has this done to our industry today in India? With Honorable Prime Minister announcing it, and also and follow up with our Finance Minister and our Honorable Minister and Secretary working on it to actually give a proper shape and a consolidation. Uh, the schools are going to impart the foundational skills that are required for making a pathway to creative arts, performing arts, design, and sports ecosystem. And this is going to be building the bottom of the pyramid with a complete ecosystem that is required for people to excel in the global arenas. As I say, individually, artists and players have done well, and they have actually done well as teams also in India. But as far as we are concerned, we have not been able to build a global brand in media and entertainment so far, although our film industry is running from 10 years old. What we are going to do with this is actually create that foundational skills in a very strong way, and this is brought into consideration with trainer program and the right kind of curriculum that IACT would give to the school education and the higher education both. This will bring about the hygiene, dignity, and also the credibility to the creative careers. As you know, any member in the family, if said that I want to become a dancer, animator, actor, or singer, they were asked to do engineering, medical first, and then they said, okay, you do it as an extracurricular activities, don't waste your time. Today is the time that we actually empower them to make creative careers, and today, design is required all over. And